Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast. We cover everything Major League, from spring training to the World Series. We've got your favorite club covered, from New York to Boston to LA. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast.
What is up? Welcome into the GSMC Baseball Podcast on a Friday as we end our week here with a little recap of the last 2 days in baseball. Talk a little bit about the NL Central race. The Milwaukee Brewers still kind of pulling away there as they have extended their lead over the Cubs. I mean, it's going to be shaky all over the summer of these standings. We'll see if these teams can hold off the teams trying to surge from behind in the standings, as well as the Mariners, who are another team trying to hold off the Astros, who are everybody's thinking is a team to beat. I mean, the Astros actually are now technically have actually pushed their nose in front in first place by a half game entering Friday. So the Mariners are now the team trailing. Looking up, the Braves, though, are a team that are half game clear in first place of the Nationals after winning 3 in a row. Gotta like the Braves. Baby Braves still hanging in there as the youth in baseball is really taking over. We'll have to do a show on that, or go through some of my favorite players, young players at least. There's a lot of guys who are under 25 or 25 and under team in Major League Baseball right now is popping. So let's go right into it, as we're going to go over the games from Wednesday and then Thursday. We'll start in New York. The Braves and the Mets had a series going, as the Braves were able to win this one 2-0 behind a nice pitching performance from the young Michael Soroka, as he was able to stymie that Mets lineup. This guy's only 20 years old. Remember, he went 6 1/3 innings, one hit ball, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts for Soroka in that one, as the Mets were able to just muster one little hit against him. That whole game, it was Brandon Nimmo who got the base hit double. The only hit in the game. The Mets had 2 hits. They got another hit in that game later, but that was about it. They got shut out as the Mets continue to really struggle at the plate. I mean, I think I saw a note they're hitting like 140 as a team since May 31st, which has been, now it's been a couple weeks now, so that's a lot. It's pretty low. As for the Braves, they did get a home run from Freddie Freeman, a solo shot, and then he also knocked in the other run as well. So like that, if you are a Freddie Freeman fan or a Braves fan, he's having a great year, or looking to get to DC for the All-Star games, hitting a nice, cool 344 on the season there for the Braves. They'll have a couple guys, I think, going over to DC. Nick Markakis also hitting a nice 238 as well, after going 0 for 4 on Wednesday. All right, another game. Giants actually against the Marlins. The Giants dropped 3 out of 4 in Miami over this week, and they had 9 leads. They had the lead 9 times, and were only able to hold it just once, and that was yesterday. We'll get to that game in just a moment, but the game on Friday was interesting, as the Giants scored 2 in the first inning, and then the Marlins just came back. Giants took the lead again, actually twice. I think they took the lead, and the Marlins just kept coming back before they did tie it up in the 8th, and then took the lead and won it in the 9th. The sacrifice fly in that one, as Giants were not able to take advantage of a nice starting by Andrew Torres. The Marlins had Caleb Smith go. He allowed 3 runs over 6 1/3 innings of work. All right, in Tampa Bay, the Rays shut out the Blue Jays on it was a walk-off shutout, basically. The game was tied going into the bottom of the 9th inning. Nothing. I'll give you the starters lines really quick here, and I'll let you know how that went. Obviously, the Rays are still going with that reliever to start off the game. Actually, they had Wilmer Font go start off this one, as he went 3 1/3 innings actually, and the bullpen kind of took it over as a combined shutout here. Font went 3 1/3 innings, allowed no runs on 2 hits, 3 walks, 1 strikeout. Then Andresi came in, pitched 3 2/3 innings, allowed no runs on 2 hits, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. And then Castillo came in and got the win, actually, because they took the lead in the ninth, remember? And that was on a Matt Duffy walk-off single in the bottom of the ninth inning. It scored Toscar Hernandez over there in Tampa Bay. So, it scored Malik Smith. Malik Smith and Tampa. Hernandez on the Braves, on the Jays. So, yeah, the Rays got the win there on Wednesday at home on the Duffy single. For the Jays, they also got a good start. Remember, you can't forget about the Jays starter. Is that Jay Happ went 5 shutout innings, allowed 1 hit, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. He got taken out after that fifth inning because of the pitch count. He's at 98 pitches already through 5, but he was pretty good as he did not allow a run, but took no decision. Another 1-0 game in Milwaukee as Jhoulys Chacin gets his 6th win on the season. He's been excellent for the Brewers this season. He pitched 6 shutout innings, allowed 4 hits, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts for Chacin as the bullpen then held the line there for the Brewers as they scored their run in the 3rd inning, and that was all they needed. The Cubs starter was Mike Montgomery. He was also pretty good. He went 6 innings, allowed 1 run on 2 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. The 1 run given up was a solo homer by Lorenzo Cain. In Baltimore, the Red Sox beat the Orioles 5-1. Chris Sale gets the win as he was excellent in this one, taking care of that Orioles lineup. He went 6 innings, allowed 1 run on 2 hits, 4 walks, 9 strikeouts. The pitch count got up, but that's why he only was able to go 6 innings. On the walks probably got him there. For the Red Sox, they got a home run from Mookie Betts, his 8th, and JD Martinez, Mookie Betts, his 18th, and JD Martinez, his 22nd on the season already for JD. In Arizona, the Diamondbacks dropped this one late as they tried to come back and tie this in the bottom of the ninth. They were down 5-2. They scored 2 in the ninth, but that was all they could. And so they dropped it 5-4. In this one, as it was a Zach Greinke start, he went 4 2/3 innings, allowed all 5 of those runs on 5 hits, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts to give up a home run. And this one, I'll let you know who that was in just a second. David Peralta hit his 12th home run for the Diamondbacks. For the Pirates, the home run was Jordy Mercer solo shot, his 4th of the season. Jameson Taillon for the Pirates was excellent. He went 7 innings, allowed 2 runs on 6 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Just that home run to Peralta was the blemish, the 2-run shot there. In Seattle, the Mariners beat the Angels 8-6 as they continue to beat up on the Angels. They end up sweeping Los Angeles in this one. It was tied 6-6 going into the bottom of the 9th inning after the Angels actually took the lead 6-4 in the top of the 7th inning. Mike Trout, remember, he hit two home runs on Tuesday and 2 home runs on Monday as well, and they both lost. They lost both those games. Home runs this game for the Mariners. Nelson Cruz hit a 2-run shot in the 3rd. Ryan Healy hit a solo shot in the 8th inning that I think that was to tie the game there. Ryan Healy to tie the game in the 8th, made it 6-6, and then Mitch Haniger hit a 2-run shot in the bottom of the 9th inning to win that one. The Bay Area product, Mitch Haniger there, of Midi High School in San Jose. For the Angels, Fontana hit a home run, his 1st of the season. Is that Fontana from Florida, the shortstop, Nolan Fontana? Yes, it is. From he went to Florida. I remember watching him in the College World Series a while back. And then Chris Young hit his 3rd of the season. No home run for Mike Trout today, or on Wednesday at least, as he still went 2 for 3 with an RBI and 2 walks, but no big deal. They lost in this one in the walk-off as they take the sweep from the Mariners. The Angels, Mike Trout, get off that team, buddy. Sorry, just do it. You got to do it eventually. Maybe ask for a trade. Rockies and Phillies. Rockies beat the Phillies 7-2. Tyler Anderson was pretty good for Colorado in this one as he beats Nick Pivetta. Anderson went 7 innings, allowed 1 run on 6 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts. That 1 run was on a homer by Jorge Alfaro his fifth of the season, and that was the only blemish for Anderson, as he was excellent in this one. The Rockies' bats also came to life as they knocked around Nick Pivetta for 6 runs over 5 innings, as they got home runs. A home run from Ian Desmond, his 12th of the season, a 2-run shot as well. Trevor Story had a couple of doubles and a couple of RBIs as well in this one. All right. On to New York. The Nationals beat the Yankees as they take one of two in that 2-game little series in New York. 5-4 was the final, and this one, as the Nationals were able to break the tie in the top of the 7th inning against the Yankees bullpen. It was a Juan Soto home run, as this game was, of course, all over national television. But the young bats, Juan Soto is 19 years old, and Gleyber Torres is not much older than him. Soto hit 2 home runs in this one, his 4th and his 5th of the year. Gleyber Torres tied the game in the bottom of the 5th inning with his 12th home run in the loss, though. As Sonny Gray pitched for the Yankees, went 5 innings, allowed 4 runs on 7 hits, 2 walks, 1 strikeout to give up a home run. In this one, was that the first one by Soto? Yeah, the 3-run shot by Soto. And then for the Nationals, it was a spot start for them because of the injury to Steven Strasburg. Eric Fetty for the Nationals went 5 innings, allowed 4 runs on 6 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts to give a couple home runs. Gleyber Torres. Greg Bird hit 1, and then Torres also in the 5th. Greg Bird, his 3rd of the year. Obviously, coming off an injury to start off the season, so he's a little trailing in that department when it comes to the rest of his team. All right, moving right along, Twins and Tigers. Tigers get the win 5-2 in this one at home, as they scored 4 runs in the 8th inning to take the lead, and one they would not give up. It was 2. The Twins scored 2 in the first, and the Tigers scored 1 in the second. It was 2-1 the whole game before the Tigers broke it open in the 8th. It was a Grayson Grenier single, a Victor Reyes single, and a Leonis Martin single that scored all those runs. You see those young kids for the Tigers. There's lots of guys that we're going to have to get used to here. For the Tigers, they had Matthew Boyd going on the mound. He went 5 innings, allowed 2 runs on 3 hits. Those 2 runs both in the first inning, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. The only home run in this game was by Goodrum for the Tigers. That was his 6th of the season. That's the big tall guy they have. He plays outfield too. He plays second base, Nico Goodrum, and first base as well. So he's got a good stick going for Detroit. In Chicago on the south side, the White Sox and the Indians got going, as the White Sox get the win on the Wednesday. Trevor Bauer takes the loss for the Indians, and Covey, I think it's Sean Covey for the Dylan Covey for the White Sox was pretty good, as he actually went 7 innings, allowed 2 runs, scattered 10 hits, as he was able to work through a lot of traffic. No walks, which is good, and 5 strikeouts. So yeah, if you can, that's how you get through a 10-hit outing. You don't walk anybody, so no extra base runners, as he was able to get the win there, his 3rd of the season, as the Indians were only able to scratch across a couple runs. No homers in this game in Chicago. In Kansas City, the Reds shut out the Royals. Tyler Mahle was excellent in this one, as he beats Jason Hamill. Mahle went 6 1/3 shutout innings, 3 hits, 2 walks, 1 strikeout for him, as the Royals were not able to scratch across anything. The lone homer was a grand slam by Adam Duvall in the 9th inning, actually, of all times. He had a grand slam to make it 7-0, and this one was 3-0. The Royals actually, it was tied 0-0, nothing through the 6th inning, where Cincinnati finally broke through, scored 2 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th, and then the 4 in the 9th. Padres and Cardinals going on a Wednesday in St. Louis. Cardinals dropped this one to the Padres 4-2. Lauer gets the win for San Diego over Luke Weaver, as he went 5 2/3 innings, allowed 2 runs on 8 hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts. And this one, as that was Eric Lauer, the left-hander for the San Diego Padres. He gave up 1 home run. That was to Marcelo Ozuna, a 2-run shot, his 8th of the season, as Luke Weaver was knocked around for 4 runs on 9 hits over 5 1/3 innings pitched, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts for him. In Oakland, the Astros beat up on the A's. They scored 7 times in the second inning. 13-5 was the final. In this one, Garrett Cole gets his 8th win on the season as he was all run support. In this one, he actually allowed 4 runs on 6 hits, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts over 6 innings pitched, 2 home runs allowed in this one. Stephen Piscotty hit his 4th of the season, a 3-run shot, and Chris Davis actually hit 2 home runs in this one, his 18th and 19th of the season. A solo shot off of Cole and a solo shot off of the reliever Gudon for the Astros as they got a bunch of offense. Obviously, Evan Gattis hit his 12th and 13th home run, and then Marwin Gonzalez hit his 5th, and Jake Marisnick hit his 5th as well as they beat up on the A's pitching. The starter for the A's, Blackburn, only went 1 1/3 innings. Obviously, those 7 runs in the second is what did him in. In LA, the final game of the day is we're going to go over the second segment for Thursday, the short slate. Dodgers beat the Rangers in walk-off fashion. They scored a run in the 11th inning to get the win there on it's a play that needed to be challenged. It was a ground ball, forced attempt, and then a throwing error by the pitcher that allowed Kike Hernandez to come in and score and get the win there. The starters for both teams, Kenta Maeda went 5 innings, allowed 2 runs on 5 hits, 3 walks, 1 strikeout. For the Rangers, it was Cole Hamels. He went 6 innings, allowed 1 earned run, 2 total, on 5 hits, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts. The lone home run in the game was a Justin Turner solo shot, his 2nd of the season. All right, well, I'll wrap it up for this segment. We'll come back and do Thursday's games, do some talk on the NL Central, and then we'll go into the third segment. We'll open it up for some more stuff around the league, look at some standings, who's hot, who's not, all that kind of stuff when we come back, so stay tuned.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
All right, welcome back to GSMC Baseball Podcast as we'll go through the games on Thursday, a shorter slate on Thursday as we'll go through these games. Right now, Giants get a game in Miami. Talked about the fact that they had a bunch of leads. They were able to hold this one. Actually, they had a 3-0 lead in this one before the Marlins scored single runs in the 5th, 7th, and then they tied it in the 9th on a sacrifice fly. This game went into the 16th inning where the Giants scored 3 runs, 2 on a Pablo Sandoval single to break that one open, and they were able to get the win there in the bottom half of the 16th inning. Actually, this game, I actually do want to talk about this game for a little bit because this is actually a really interesting game. So we always go through the pitching lines here on this show. I like to give the pitching lines. So the Giants had Derek Rodriguez. This is really interesting. Look at this. So Derek Rodriguez was the starter in this game. He started the game, went 6 2/3 innings, allowed 7 hits, 2 runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts. They give up a home run to JT Riddle in this one, a solo shot. But then the Giants had, obviously, their 2 relievers. Strickland blows the save in the 9th, and then they bring in Ty Block, who was in the rotation, and then it was put into the bullpen when they brought back when Madison Bumgarner came back to the rotation after his injury. So Ty Block goes to the bullpen, becomes the long man in the bullpen. What does he do? Oh, he just pitches 6 2/3 innings himself. 7 hits allowed, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, no runs. So he pitched 6 2/3 shutout innings, which is a great start. So the Giants got 2 quality starts in this game, which, I mean, that's a stat in baseball. A quality start, I think, is 3 runs or less over 6 innings. They got 2 quality starts in this game, and they got them the win as they had to go into 16 innings. But I wanted to let you guys know that it's a really interesting box score looking at it because you see Rodriguez with a 6 2/3 innings pitched. You're like, oh, looking down, oh, Ty Block, 6 2/3 innings pitched. So he basically double starter for the Giants as they'll have to probably make a couple of roster moves to make sure that they have some arms in the bullpen as they will be getting a series started in Los Angeles tonight over the weekend. So big one going Giants and Dodgers. All right, that was a 6-3 final, by the way. And home runs, actually, the home runs in that game. JT Riddle hit a solo shot, and then Andrew McCutchen hit a 2-run homer in the first inning, and the Giants left fielder Mac Williamson hit, I think is that his 5th or his 4th of the season, as McCutchen, that was his 8th, a 2-run shot, and then Williamson, a solo shot, that was his 4th of the year. In Philadelphia, the Rockies dropped this one to the Phillies. The Phillies win 9-3. The Phillies scored 4 runs in the 7th inning to, they had a lead 3-0. The Rockies came back a little bit, made it 3-2. Phillies said, nope, we're going to extend it right out to 7-2 as they scored 4 in that 7th inning. The winning pitcher in this one for the Phillies was Vince Velasquez. He went 6 2/3 innings pitched, allowed 2 runs on 1 hit, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts for him. In this one, the Phillies got home runs from Rhys Hoskins, his 8th, and Nick Williams, his 8th as well. The Rockies got a home run from McMahon, his 1st of the season, off of Neris, but in the later innings when the game was already decided. Tigers and Twins. Twins dropped this one 3-1. Tigers get another win, and against their division rivals, the Tigers are only 4 games under 500. As Michael Fulmer, they're 33-37. Michael Fulmer gets his 3rd win on the season, beating Lance Lynn. And this one, as I look at the line for him, he went 7 innings, allowed 1 run on 5 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, as he was pretty good. For the Tigers, they got a home run from Jacoby Jones, his 5th of the season. Indians get a win in the south side of Chicago. 5-2 was the final. Steve Clevenger gets his 5th win of the season. Cody Allen gets his 13th save. As the Indians, like I said, get the 5-2 win. Carlos Rodon was the starter for the White Sox. He went 5 innings, allowed 2 runs on 2 hits, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, a homer allowed. And this one, as it was a solo shot by Francisco Lindor. Jose Ramirez also hit his 20th homer of the season, a 2-run shot off of Volstad in the 7th inning. For the White Sox, Jose Abreu hit his 11th of the season, a 2-run shot off of Steve Clevenger. That was in the 1st inning. That gave them their only lead of the game that they would surrender later. A's, they can't beat they're still having troubles against the Astros. The A's and Astros go again in Oakland. 7-3 was the final there, as Justin Verlander gets the victory over Montas, as Montas drops his first game for the A's this season. He's now 3-1, but Verlander is now 9-2 with a 1.161 ERA on the season. As the bats came to support him in this one as well. The Astros got a home run from Brian McCann. A bunch of doubles as well, a triple in this one, as Verlander went 7 innings, allowed 3 runs on 5 hits, no walks, 7 strikeouts. Did give up a couple home runs. Chris Davis hit his 20th off of Verlander, 20th of the season, and Matt Olson hit his 14th. Chris Davis' home run was a bomb, 405-foot bomb. The Yankees beat the Rays 4-3, as they will go into the weekend now. After the win, Yankees get the win. It's German gets the win, actually, his first of the season, as they were able to hold off the Rays. They scored 4 times in the bottom of the 5th inning. The highlight of that inning was a 2-out, 3-run homer by Gleyber Torres, as he continues to hit the cover off the ball. A 2-3-run shot, his 13th of the season. Aaron Hicks also hit a homer in the 5th, his 7th of the season, a solo homer. That was the 4 runs right there for the Yankees. Matt Duffy hit his 3rd leadoff homer in the 1st inning, the first pitch of the game, actually. The solo shot, as that was the big run for the Rays there, but they were unable to hold the lead. Blake Snell went 5 innings, allowed 4 runs on 5 hits, 4 walks, 8 strikeouts, those 2 homers. The walks really killed him in the pitch count. And then German for the Yankees, Domingo German for the Yankees went 6 innings, allowed 3 runs on 5 hits, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts, a homer allowed in this one. All right, in Atlanta, the Braves beat the Padres 4-2. Anibal Sanchez gets his third win. He's now 3-0 on the year for the Braves, as he's been a nice addition to that rotation there in Atlanta. He went 7 shutout innings, allowed four hits, 6 strikeouts. That was it for the starter for the Braves. The Padres did get a couple runs off of Winkler in the bullpen, but that the game was I wouldn't say in hand, as that made it a 3-2 game. Atlanta made it 4-2 with a run in the bottom of the 8th to extend it out a little bit. They got the win in this one. Home runs for the Braves. Ender Inciarte, his 5th of the season for the Padres. Nothing there. They got a few doubles, but that was about it. In Arizona, Diamondbacks beat the Mets 6-3. Matt Cook gets his 5th win on the season. He beats Jason Vargas. Boxberger gets his 15th save of the season. As I said, look at the home runs in this one. The Diamondbacks got home runs from Paul Goldschmidt, his 13th. David Peralta hit hit 2 home runs actually, his 13th and 14th of the season, and Jake Lamb his 5th of the year for the D-backs. For the Mets, Brandon Nimmo hit his 9th, and Michael Conforto hit his 8th, and then Rosario hit his 4th of the season. There's a home run derby there, and it was only 6-3, but most of those runs were scored off homers. In that one, as the Diamondbacks were able to outslug the Mets in this one. Jason Vargas went 5 innings, allowed 3 runs on 5 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, 2 homers allowed in that one. And the Diamondbacks, Matt Cook went 6 innings, allowed 2 runs on 3 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. In this one, 2 homers allowed as well. And the final game of the day was a nightcap. Red Sox behind David Price. The battle of the 2 aces. David Price gets his 8th win on the season, lowers his ERA down to 3.76. An excellent performance for him. Only a 2-1 victory for the Red Sox. Felix Hernandez, a tough luck loser, was excellent as well in this one. Both pitchers throwing that fastball really well, really good location. The Red Sox were able to get a run early in the game against Felix on a home run by Xander Bogaerts. I think that was Bogaerts. That was his 10th homer of the year, and that was his homer in the 6th inning. But Hernandez allowed 2 runs on 8 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. That homer for Bogaerts on over 7 innings pitched. Price also went 7 innings, allowed 1 run on 5 hits, no walks, 7 strikeouts for him. The bullpen, they brought in Kelly, got the hole, and then Kimbrel, his 22nd save already on the season for Craig Kimbrel. You gotta like that if you are a Red Sox fan. Like I said, Xander Bogaerts his 10th of the year, and Jackie Bradley back swinging it again. As he, what was he? Well, he was 1 for 3, but 2 hits for Rafael Devers is hitting well. Bogaerts back in the lineup hitting well. JD Martinez 2 more hits. He's hitting 317. Mookie Betts is picked up where he left off after his stint on the DL as well. So a little commentary before we go to the next segment on the Red Sox here. They have the team to beat. There was a question: are the Astros the team to beat in the National League or American League? Are the Astros the team to beat in the American League? Are the Red Sox the team to beat in the American League? Are the Indians, the Yankees? Are we getting to a point here where we've already kind of identifying the teams that are going to be playing in October? I think it's really the question mark between who's going to be that second wild card, because I bet you Indians, they're going to be fine in their division. Yankees or Red Sox are running away with the East, so one of them is going to be the wild card team. And then the Astros, I think, are going to be able to hold off the Mariners over the long haul. They're just built that way. They have better pitching and better hitting. I think all around, it's a better built team. The Mariners need a lot of magic, and eventually, I think by the end of the season, they're going to get a little worn down because of that travel we've been talking about a lot. They do bounce around the country a lot because of the fact that they're way up there in Seattle in the Pacific Northwest, and I think their closest flight is like 2 hours to Oakland, and everything else is further. So when they travel in bunches. Obviously, the fact that they have so many miles logged in an airplane can wear on a team. Looking at their schedule, the Mariners' schedule for the outlook here. on the season. I mean, they're home right now against Boston, but then they're going to head right out on the road. I mean, after this series, they have a 4-game weekend series with the Red Sox that started yesterday. Grind through that series against a tough Red Sox team. We're going to have a day off on Monday. Then you're right out to New York. You're going to play the Yankees for 3, the Red Sox for 3 more. And you get a little bit of a break playing the Orioles next week, or the week after next, in Baltimore, and then you're back home. But still, just a lot of travel, a lot of travel. Before the All-Star break, they're going to be going on that East Coast swing, and then they're going to be going to LA and then Colorado, which are probably two of the closer cities, Colorado especially, for the Mariners when it comes to travel for them. And then they'll have the All-Star break, which I'm sure they're going to send some good people to. They're going to send some they're going to have some representatives in DC. Hopefully Mitch Haniger gets sent there. Vote Mitch Haniger if you're not going to vote anybody else. The Bay Area product from San Jose. Also, Ryan Healy's having a great year. Kyle Seager. You got Nelson Cruz, obviously. I think James Paxton's going to be there. So they got a bunch of different guys who could be thinking about that. We'll probably do a show, and we'll do it. We'll definitely going to do an All-Star Game show in a couple weeks here, thinking about who deserves to get a trip to DC next month. All right, that'll wrap it up for this segment. We'll come back and talk a little more Mariners, NL Central, Braves, probably NL East, AL East as well. We'll bounce around all sorts of stuff like we do on the show, and we'll do it when we come back. So everybody stay tuned.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
All right, welcome back to GSMC Baseball Podcast, as we are going to do a little talk on the Braves, Mariners, and then make a little head start on the preview for the weekend, as we have a big weekend in baseball. Obviously, that Mariners and Red Sox series going over the weekend. I'm just looking at some of these games we have today. Obviously, Giants-Dodgers this weekend. We have Rays and Yankees keep going. Jays Nationals is going to be a good one. Twins Indians. I'm looking over here. Phillies Brewers, that'll be a good one. Cubs Cardinals. A's and Angels. Diamondbacks Mets continue their series over the weekend. Like I said, it's going to be a fun one, as make a little jump on the preview for Friday. But starting now, I mean, the Mariners, we talked about them and the fact that they have to keep proving themselves. I think this is the one thing about being on the Mariners is you haven't made the playoffs in a long time. You always have these hot starts and you continue just fizzle out by the end of the season. It's not really the nicest thing to think about, but it's just what happens, and it's just bad. It's unfortunate. Circumstances. I mean, you do like the fact that they're winning ball games. They're getting good pitching performances. King Felix is back on track. They're hitting the ball. They're getting production even without Robinson Cano. So you gotta like that. But I mean, you gotta hope that that you can keep it going. Get it, basically keep the legs strong, keep the rest involved. I mean, I think it's also a managing situation where you're going to rotate guys out, get them days off, because people get worn out. Bullpens get taxed, starters' arms, sitting on airplanes, legs get cramped up. Things happen, so you don't want any of that to go on. And then also quickly, I do want to talk about a little bit what happened yesterday. or no, actually, it was yesterday, the day before, on Wednesday. Wednesday, we had a really cool thing happen in baseball. I did talk about it when we recapped the game. Yankees and Nationals were in New York playing their game. A game the Nationals won on that Juan Soto home run, but that's the future of baseball. That's why I'm not really afraid. Everyone's like, oh, baseball is going down the tubes. Oh, nobody watches it anymore. Yeah, it's the gameplay is a little slow. It's a little, obviously for me, I could sit and watch a boring baseball game for 3 hours because every little intricacy of the game means something to me. But for young players out there, you got to be encouraged. For young talented players out there, for young guys, oh, I want to play in the show, bases loaded, no 2 outs, bottom of the 9th inning, World Series. It's all possible. Obviously, you got to be a phenom. You got to be good at baseball. But the dream is still there, and the dream is there, and you can make the major leagues at 19 years old. And look at this kid for the Nationals. That, of course, me thinking big picture for baseball is like, okay, the kid's 19 years old. That means he probably played in the minor leagues for like. Oh, it depends. He was probably signed as a minor league, international free agent, so he's probably signed at like 16, 17 years old, which means he played for 3 years, which is about right. That's why you're seeing him already. That's why, because the guys that are drafted are usually 18, 19 years old, maybe a 20-something-year-old if you get him out of college, and they'll get to the league by like 23, 22 years old. This guy got a little head start because he was an international signee, Juan Soto, that is. Same thing, I think, with Gleyber. Same thing with Gleyber Torres. He was a signee by the Cubs. He was traded in that Royals Chapman trade. Got the Cubs World Series, but I mean, yeah, I think you'd rather have the ring because it's not a sure bet. Gleyber Torres, I don't think he's going to win the World Series for the Yankees this season. It's not an automatic. He might win it eventually, but not an automatic thing. So the Cubs, I mean, if you're the Cubs, you're going to be okay with what happened. As far as it goes with the fact that the youth out there, what about all those other minor leaguers? Like, you guys, they're good baseball players. They don't suck, but it's got to be tough if you see a 19-year-old just shoot right by you in the ranks of. You saw it twice. You saw Bryce Harper, and you saw now Juan Soto just shoot right by all those Nationals minor leaguers. I mean, those teams. There's hundreds of guys in the National, or 100 guys about in the Nationals farm system, and they just like zoop right by you. Like, they didn't have a left fielder who's been there for a few years I guess not. It's just interesting knowing that, like, I mean, obviously we see all these young kids in basketball because, I mean, basically it's the G League and college and that's it. I mean, baseball, you have 4 tiers of minor league baseball underneath the show where these guys all develop and such. I mean, I'm a Giants fan. I'm waiting for 4-year-old kids to finally get their chance to come up. Obviously, we've been lucky in having the championships that we have and the core that we were able to get with Brandon Crawford and Joe Panic and Buster Posey and all that stuff. So there's not really spaces to fill. The Nationals, they had Jason Worth out there in left field for a long time and right field, and now they have Bryce Harper and they have Michael A. Taylor on one side of the field, and they needed some help, so they decided to bring up the young kid to play left field for them now. As far as Gleyber Torres goes, I think he was just hitting. He's got 13 home runs already in the major leagues. I mean, his swing is where we're headed. It's fast. It's a heavy barrel. It has a little bit of an uppercut to it. He might have some issues. I mean, the thing is with these young kids is that they're getting a lot of fastballs because we don't really. You think you can attack pitchers? Think they can attack them? I mean, you're even seeing Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper's hitting 240 right now because they can find a hole in swings. Major league pitchers are crazy. They can find holes in swings. So these young kids like Torres, like Soto, like. There's more of them. I'm trying to think of all the rest of there's more of them out there, but those are the 2 guys I don't think about right now, the 2 phenoms right now. They could progress. I would not be surprised if they eventually regress. They're not going to be. I mean, Aaron Judge. You saw where's Aaron Judge been he's hitting his home runs, but is he still hitting 350? I mean, he's actually watch him be hitting 300. I'm just talking up my butt right now because I watched him hit 300. But I mean, you're not really hearing him in the spotlight. Obviously, there's always the next guy to talk about. There's always Gleyber Torres to talk about. He's hitting 13 home runs already. He started. I think when did he get called up? May 1st. he's had the most home runs. I think May 4th was when he hit his first home run, and he's tied with JD Martinez for the most homers since that date. So, yeah, he's pretty good. But as far as I want to look at Judge, what's Judge hitting right now? Where's that Yankee game? Did they play? Yeah, they played yesterday. Where's that Yankee game? What's Judge hitting right now? Judge is hitting 275. So, yeah, not quite what he was doing last year with the old 315 or 325, whatever he's doing. Giancarlo, 244. Gary Sanchez, 188. So, yeah, I mean, they're getting the home runs. But the production, the overall, like, getting on base and actually doing things on this team, that's coming from Torres. That's coming from, honestly, Ronald Torres is having a nice little year. Miguel Andujar, who's been a very surprising addition for the. I don't think the Yankees were expecting much from him this season, as he's really locked down third base for the Yankees there. Obviously, Torres is hitting 295, and then right now, Didi Gregorius did not play on Thursday. So let me see. He's hitting like 305 right now, I think, on the year. So he's doing just fine. Didi, not as many home runs as he was doing earlier in the season. His average dropped too. He's only hitting 246, so his average came down a lot. Yeah, I don't think the Yankees they had the Astros on the ropes. I think their chance was last year when Judge was hitting 50 bombs. I think Stanton is just going to be more home runs. Yeah, he had 3 hits on Wednesday. That's great. But more home runs for him is nice. You're going to get a lot of home runs from that lineup. You're going to get a lot of home runs from that ballpark. But I think that they're over the course of the season, you're going to get a little more pushback. I think I didn't even put the Yankees up in the title line. We're supposed to talk about the Braves and the NL Central here. We got our Mariners talk. The Braves, obviously, they have their fair share of youth with Acuna and Ozzie Albies, who have continued. That's how quickly our attention moves on, because the Braves were the talk of the town through April and most of May, and now we're kind of like, oh, yep, the Braves are good. All right, move along. Talk about something else. The Braves are good. They have their 2 veterans, actually, because they're the baby Braves, but their 2 best players right now are Freddie Freeman and Nick Markakis. Obviously, they just got a great start from Michael Soroka last time out. He's been excellent in his rookie season as a 20-year-old. Another thing, same thing, young kids, there's going to be an adjustment. There's going to be more film on you. The young pitchers can... If they have good stuff, they can be nasty. They locate fastballs. The only reason why young pitchers, I think, personally, why a young pitcher who's never been faced before by these major league hitters get in trouble is when they can't locate their fastball, they get predictable, and they walk people. If you stay ahead of the count and you're able to get your fastball over, you can use your curveball ahead of the count. Off-speed pitches. That's when because they haven't seen you before. They don't know what your tendencies are. They don't know anything. But if you can, it's not that difficult to not swing at a ball, basically. Especially against a guy, a veteran hitter. So if you are a young pitcher, if there's a young pitcher out there, just throw strikes and you'll be fine. And that's what Soroka's been doing for the Braves. As far as the NL Central goes, just taking a peek at that division standings here. The Brewers are holding off the Cubs right now. They're a game and a half back. The Cubs won 6 of the last 10. Brewers are 5-5 of the last 10. They have won 2 in a row. I think that it's really going to come down to the starting rotation. Don't count the Cardinals out. They're right there. They're 4 back. I actually like the Cardinals rotation. I think they need to get their bats going a little bit better. If they can get Ozuna going, he's only got 8 home runs in the year. He should be around probably 15 right now with his power. So if they can get him going, get Matt Carpenter going again. I like their rotation. Obviously, could have had some injury issues with Carlos Martinez and Adam Wainwright. But I love Miles Mikolas. I love their bullpen. They have the guy who throws. It was a Hicks in that bullpen that throws 105 miles an hour. So they have the talent the Cardinals do, and the Cardinals are a great franchise. They have Mike Matheny there at the helm. So don't count them out. The Pirates, I think they've kind of fallen on hard times. They've lost 7 of the last 10. They're 8 back. I think they're kind of done. They had their fun run. They were not expected to do anything this season. It'll be a 3-team race going throughout the rest of the season, I think, with the Brewers, this is exactly what they wanted to do. I think their bullpen's great, right where they want them to be. The starters, I think, is the rotation's going to might be their undoing. I don't really think that Chase Anderson, even though I think he's good, Chase Anderson and Suter and Jhoulys Chacin, these are all guys. I mean, I don't know. Suter, I think, was a homegrown guy, but Chase Anderson is a former. I think Chacin's a former Rocky. Anderson came over from a West Coast team, I think, as well. Maybe NL West team. I think maybe the Diamondbacks or even the Rockies as well, but I'm not the biggest fan of their rotation. The bats, though, the guys they got in the offseason, you got Lorenzo Cain, he's hitting. You got Christian Yelich, he's hitting. So you gotta like that if you're a Brewers fan. Looking at their team batting average, I just want to look at their teams, their stats really quick for the Brewers, because they're a team that's done this. They've made the playoffs. They're experienced. Craig Counsell's won a World Series as a player. He's not afraid of the big moment. He knows what to do in certain situations. I mean, looking at the Brewers here today, they have Suter going, the lefty, so against Arrieta. So we'll talk about that in the next segment in just a moment here. But looking at their stats, I mean, Christian Yelich is hitting 302, Lorenzo Cain 388. They got Travis Shaw hitting home runs. They got Aguilar hitting home runs. So Brian Braun obviously still on that team. You can't forget about him. Eric Thames. So they get production from all over that lineup, and if they can continue to do that, they'll be just fine this season. If they can out-hit their pitching, basically, is what the goal is, and they play in the ballpark that is basically designed to do that. All right, that'll wrap it up for this segment. We'll come back and preview the weekend in baseball. Like I said, great series: Giants, Dodgers, Phillies, Brewers, Cubs, Cardinals going this weekend, A's and Angels, and we'll do that. We'll go over those games when we come back, so stay tuned.
Want to know the latest in soccer? Then listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast. From MLS, the World Cup, and the Premier League, we've got you covered. The latest updates, the hottest matches, and news on the league's top players. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast.
David Beckham scores the goal to take England all the way to the World Cup finals.
Listen now.
All right, welcome back to GSMC Baseball Podcast, as we're going to go over the games for this weekend and talk about some pitching performances that are worth watching, but pay attention to in San Francisco. We're not in San Francisco, but the Giants of San Francisco are in L.A. against the Dodgers this weekend. Derek Holland against Ross Stripling. Stripling's been excellent for the Dodgers, but the Giants have faced him a bunch of times, so we'll see how they fare against him tonight. In Pittsburgh, it'll be Matt Harvey going again for the Reds against the Pirates. Chad Kuhl, who's 4-4 with a 3.95 ERA on the season. In Baltimore, it'll be a interleague affair of bottom tier teams. Even though the Marlins just came off of a nice series against the Giants, they play tough. Watching them firsthand is nice, as it'll be Julio Arena against Gausman for the Baltimore Orioles. Gausman's 3-5 with a 4.58 ERA. Arena just the one win with the 4.59 ERA. Nathan Eovaldi goes for the Rays against his former team. He's 1-1 with a 3.94 ERA, and he'll be going against a young starter for the Yankees, Jonathan. Let's see if I can pronounce this right. Loaisiga, or Siga. There's no N. Loaisiga. Pronounce that for me. Loaisiga, as he's going to be going for the first time, Major League debut Friday for the Yankees. That'll be a fun one to pay attention to against the Rays. Gio Gonzalez against Anibal Sanchez, Nationals, and Aaron Sanchez. Aaron Sanchez for the Rays. for the Jays and Nats, another interleague affair going. Nationals and Blue Jays up north of the border in Toronto. Gio Gonzalez against Aaron Sanchez. In Cleveland, it'll be Corey Kluber going for the Indians. He's 10-2 with a 1.99 ERA. He'll be going against Kyle Gibson for the Minnesota Twins. In Atlanta, it'll be Clayton Richard against Brandon McCarthy for the Braves. They have very similar records of 5-3 for McCarthy, 5-6 for Richards, and a 4.40 ERA for Richards, 5.03 ERA for McCarthy. Chad Bettis going for the Rockies in Texas, another interleague game. We have 3 series going on this weekend against Yohander Mendez, making his first big league start for the Rangers in Texas. And then AL Central Fair, Tigers and White Sox. Mike Fiers against Ronaldo Lopez. In Milwaukee, it'll be the Phillies and the Brewers. Just talked about that a second ago. Jarek Arrieta is 5-4 with a 2.97 ERA in the season. Very nice. He'll be going against the left-hander for the Brewers. Brent Suter is 6-4 with a 4.61 ERA on the year. And then in St. Louis, it'll be a nice matchup. This is one of the better ones of the day. John Lester, 7-2 with a 2.22 ERA, has quietly put together, as quiet as you can on the Cubs, has put together a nice little season so far. He'll be going against a guy who's done the same thing for the Cardinals. He's 8-1 with a 2.47 ERA. That's Michael Wacha, the right-hander there for the Cardinals. As I told you, their rotation, don't count the Cardinals out. Don't count them out in the wild card. Don't count them out in the Central either. So Cardinals are not going to go away, I don't think. In Kansas City, it'll be Jacob Junis going for the Royals against Charlie Morton for the Astros. Morton is 7-1 with a nice 2.82 ERA on the season. In Oakland, it'll be Tyler Skaggs for the Angels. He's 5-4 with a 3.08 ERA against Chris Bassett, who has made his first Major League appearance this is his first Major League appearance since Saturday. He didn't have anything since April 28th, and he pitched on Saturday in a start, and I was going to get another start again, as he did hold the Royals to 1 run on 3 hits and 7 innings pitched, as he's pitching in place of an injured Trevor Cahill in that A's rotation. And then in Arizona, it'll be Shane Lugo against Zach Godley tonight in the Desert, Mets and Diamondbacks. And then in Seattle, another great pitching matchup in Seattle. We had yesterday was David Price and King Felix. Today is James Paxton hosting Rick Porcello. Both guys with nice lines. Porcello is 8-3 with a 3.54 ERA. James Paxton 6-1 with a 3.02 ERA on the season. And now for Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to pick some juicy matchups to go over. Tomorrow in LA, it'll be a 5:15 start, as I think this game is going to be on Fox Sports 1. Alex Wood, lefty, going against another lefty in Madison Bumgarner, still looking for his first win in the season. He's 0-1 with a 4.76 ERA. He's had this last start in Miami was not quite what he wanted, and then in Alex Wood, he's 1-5 with a 4.43 ERA there for the Dodgers. Luis Severino will be pitching tomorrow for the Yankees. He does not know who he's going to go against yet, as the Rays have not announced which reliever is going to start the game for them. Lucas Giolito against Jordan Zimmerman in the south side of Chicago. Tigers and White Sox. Dallas Keuchel going for the Astros in Kansas City against Danny Duffy. In Pittsburgh, it'll be Luis Castillo and Ivan Nova. In Texas, it'll be Kyle Freeland for the Rockies against Mike Minor for the Rangers. In Oakland, it'll be Nick Tropiano for the Angels against Sean Manaea for the A's. Wei-Yin Chen against Alex Cobb in Baltimore for the Marlins and the Orioles. Max Scherzer goes for the Nationals against Marco Estrada. Max Scherzer with that 10-2 record, an even 2 ERA. Marco Estrada is 3-6 with a 5.09 ERA. That game will be up in Toronto. This is the young guy, Fernando Romero, for the Twins. He's been nice this season, going against Carlos Carrasco. Has also been good for the Indians. Carrasco is 8-4 with that 3.90 ERA. Look at that. They have identical ERAs. That'll tell you run support matters. That'll get you. It's good for about 5 more wins sometimes. Look at that. Carrasco is 8-4 with a 3.90 ERA versus Romero is 3-2. With a 3.92 ERA. I think Carrasco might have a couple more starts on him, but still a disparity. But the same exact ERA, but the wins are a little off. Obviously, I think the Carrasco, like I said, pitched a couple more times. In Milwaukee, it'll be Junior Guerra going against Zach Eflin for the Phillies. Both guys have been kind of nice pleasant surprises in these rotations. Guerra has had a no decision bug as he's gotten hit with a couple of them in the last few times, but he's 3-4 with a nice 2.71 ERA, 60 strikeouts. Eflin's 3-2 with a 3.63 ERA, 40 strikeouts on the season for him. Jordan Lyles against Sean Newcomb in Atlanta as the youngster again. Newcomb is 3-2 with a 2.92 ERA. Those young Braves, they're pitching. They pitch and they pitch and they pitch. They got Newcomb, they got Soroka, they got Fultonavich, they got Tehran. I mean, I can keep going. They pitch. Oh, and then they have 2 guys hitting way over 300 are going to go to the All-Star game, and they have the 2 rookies who are hitting bombs left and right. So the Braves not going away. I love the Braves. Love the Braves this season. I think they might run away with that NL East. I'm not the Nationals. Bryce Harper's hitting 240, guys. Come on, get it together. Though Padres, get healthy against the Padres. Braves as you try to extend your lead against the Nationals. In Seattle, will be an interesting little matchup here as we have Shane Wright, the knuckleballer for the Red Sox, has been reinserted into that rotation due to some injury issues there in Boston. But they're going to be in Seattle again on Saturday. It'll be Shane Wright against Wade LeBlanc for the Mariners, as the lefty is 2-0 with a 3.00 ERA. He's been nice this season. Another great matchup going on Saturday. Actually, a couple. We have a lot of good matchups. Steven Matz, we'll get there, but Carl Hendricks against Carlos Martinez, 2 of the best pitchers in the National League last year, and maybe even this year. Carl Hendricks 4-6 with a 3.48 ERA. Martinez dealing with some injuries this year, though, is back now, and he's 3-3 with a 2.50 ERA on the season. And the final game on Saturday night, it'll be a night game out there in the desert. Mets and Diamondbacks. Steven Matz against Patrick Corbin, who's been absolutely unhittable in some of his starts. I mean, he's got a 3.21 ERA, which isn't the best you could think of. I mean, obviously Scherzer with a 3.2 ERA, but Corbin's been pretty darn good. When he's really good, and it all has to do with that slider, that slurvy curveball that he has, and mixing that with the fastball command that he can be very good with. And then on Sunday, going to go over the top matchups for you as well. Chris Stratton for the Giants. The Dodgers have not announced the starter yet. In Baltimore, it'll be Dylan Bundy against Trevor Richards for the Marlins. In Toronto, it'll be Lucas Gavigolo against Tanner Roark. In Toronto, against the Nationals up north. Jake Odorizzi against Plutko for the Indians, who's been back and forth from AAA and the majors, but he's got a 3-1 record, 5.09 ERA. Needs to come down for the young Adam Plutko. He'll be going against Jake Odorizzi, like I said just a second ago. In Pittsburgh, it'll be Anthony DeSclafani against Joe Musgrove for the Pirates. In Atlanta, it'll be Julio Tehran. Does not know who he's pitching against for the Padres. We'll find that one out, as the Padres are going to probably have to do a spot starter in this one. Tampa also has not a starter. They're probably going to have a reliever come and start this one as well against CC Sabathia for the Yankees. It'll be James Shields for the White Sox against Blaine Hardy, a left-hander for the Tigers. Blaine Hardy is 2-1 with a 3.55 ERA. Shields 2-7 with a 4.63 ERA. James Shields, who, I guess he just likes living in Chicago and getting paid a lot of money. Phillies and Brewers. Aaron Nola against Chase Anderson. Nola has been excellent, becoming the starter, the ace of that staff in Philadelphia. Even with Jake Arrieta there, Nola is 8-2 with a 2.27 ERA on the year. Chase Anderson 5-5 with a 4.13 ERA on the year. In Kansas City, it'll be Lance McCullers Jr. in his 8-3 record, 3.83 ERA on the season, going against Brad Keller for the Royals, who will make his 4th career start on Sunday for Kansas City against the Astros. In Texas, it'll be the Rockies and the Rangers getting their series wrapped up. John Gray going for the Rockies. Not yet known who's going to pitch for the Rangers yet, though. Probably a spot start for them as well. In Oakland, A's and Angels, Andrew Heaney going for the Angels. He's 3-5 with a 3.68 ERA against Tyler Megden, who's 6-6. Or Daniel, I say Tyler, it's Daniel Megden, who's 6-6 with a 3.90 ERA on the season. I always think his name's Tyler. Eduardo Rodriguez against Mike Leake in Seattle. Mike Leake's been a nice little addition for that Seattle rotation. Obviously, he's 7-3 with a 4.26 ERA means you're going to get some run. You're getting some run support for sure. But I like that. He's a nice little 5th starter for them in Seattle. In Arizona, it'll be Zach Wheeler against Clay Buchholz, Diamondbacks and Mets. And then the final game, Sunday Night Baseball, Cubs and Cardinals at 5:05 Pacific time start. Sunday Night Baseball from St. Louis. Jose Quintana, the left-hander for the Cubs, going up against Jack Flaherty, a right-hander for the Cardinals, who's 22 years old, as he has kind of exerted himself as another guy for the NL Rookie of the Year. Maybe he's definitely been. I mean, the Braves. Any of the Braves players will have something to say about that. Same thing with Juan Soto, but Jack Flaherty is 2nd in ERA and of rookies. He's got a 2.96 ERA. I mean, he would have the best ERA if it wasn't for Newcomb, but he's 3-2 with that 2.96 ERA, 46 strikeouts on the season. All right, that'll wrap it up. Everybody have a great Father's Day. Make sure to go watch some baseball on Sunday with your dad. Those guys will be out there in those nice blue hats and blue shirts, blue bats, everything. The blue on the uniforms too. Those hats actually pretty cool. I might have to go get one of those for myself as the Father's Day is coming upon us here in the U.S. On the West Coast. We love our baseball. Obviously, on the East Coast, we love our baseball. On the East Coast, they also have a big event out there on Long Island right now. The U.S. Open is in full swing in round 2 of the U.S. Open right now. Probably no Tiger over the weekend, but Dustin Johnson does hold a lead right now going through the 2nd round. All right, everybody, enjoy the weekends. We'll be back on Monday with some more baseball talk. We'll recap the games I just previewed for you, and then we'll do the same thing for Mondays and Tuesdays game, do some talk on the hot team, probably some more phenom talk, some more rookies talk, Braves, Mariners, and Yankees we went over today. Also the NL Central race. Don't count out those Cardinals, as they're right there knocking on the door. Everybody have a good weekend. We'll be back on Monday. See you later. Bye.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.